When you're overseas, you'll understand that they, the youngsters become independent at the age of 16, 17, 18, and they get into their own world. So for them, it is easier to deal with the financial literacy, or they have to do it, learn and do it on themselves. So the financial literacy comes naturally to the other economies compared to us. So I think the message to the academicians is that it is probably important for us to bring in that curriculum, and make them learn the fundamentals of finance. But if you look at a project manager who is managing a project, he doesn't understand why he's doing that project. From a financial angle, he obviously understands the features and functionalities. I am actually seeing the project managers in the company, how they actually work on projects and how they conceive projects and how they look at it from a project angle, but not from a customer's shoe. I mean, sitting on customer's shoes. So that's why I was actually very keen to set the stage. I would also like to start or pick from where Professor Rao was talking about the Indian culture and the values and all of that. But I would like to say that generally for Indians, maybe because of the culture. See, when you are in India, when you are overseas, you'll understand that the youngsters become independent at the age of 16, 17, 18, and they get into their own world. So for them, it is easier to deal with the financial literacy, or they have to do it, learn and do it on themselves. In our case, in the Indian culture, it's changing though. What happens is youngsters, till they get married, and even after they get married, parents support them, right? So I think the understanding on the finances do not come naturally to our population. So I think that is a major issue. And the other factor is we are a low-cost economy. So when you have a low-cost economy, you don't so much worry about your daily finances. I mean, to put it very bluntly, somebody who's earning 500 rupees can actually, have his daily expenses met and still survive. Whereas in high-cost economies, unless you earn, let's say, at least 2,000-3,000 pounds or dollars, you can't really survive. So the financial literacy comes naturally to the other economies compared to us. So I think the message to the academicians is that it is probably important for us to bring in that curriculum, and make them learn the fundamentals of finance and how they should manage it. Otherwise, we'll have serious issues, especially with the globalization. Forget AI. With globalization, unless we become competent, we'll probably have no survival, especially in the professional world. I'd like to also pick up some messages from Warren Buffett. I'm sure all of you know who's Warren Buffett. He probably the richest, one of the very wealthy person who's probably 95 plus now and still working. His message to if you listen to his videos, you can see that he speaks, don't buy houses, don't buy brand new luxury cars, just go for, second-hand cars. So like, if you want to buy a Mercedes at 1 crore versus can you buy a second-hand Mercedes, if you still want Mercedes, can probably buy it at about 30-40 lakhs. So I mean, that's the kind of message he is giving. So that shows the importance of why you should actually earn and invest, rather than buy a house. He says it doesn't make any sense or logic to buy a house. So invest that money instead of buying a 1 crore house, probably rent and then invest that 1 crore if you can, and into multiplying money. So I agree with the fact that you should actually earn and grow the money. So that's important. Now, what I would want to touch upon and why I was keen to talk about the IT sector is because I'm in that industry. And today, if you look at it, digital and AI, that is permeating every sectors in the industry. Like whether it is Uber, it's car service, but IT is more prominent there. Deliveroo or Uber Eats, you still have hotels all connected on technology. Likewise, you have even agriculture, So every sector is touched by digital. What happens? So I was observing that most of our IT literates or IT engineers, you see about 250,000 of IT employees are there in Kerala itself. Across the country, we have about 6 million IT engineers who are deployed in that sector, serving the Western world. I mean, who's very financially very much more literate than us. What I was observing is that they don't really understand the financial meaning of why they're doing a project for a customer. Many of them, obviously, this vice president and so on, they understand. But if you look at a project manager who is managing a project, he doesn't understand why he's doing that project. From a financial angle, he obviously understands the features and functionalities. So what they are worried about is the user experience, the user design, the looks and feel, how it actually. So they are very excited about all that, and building technology, obviously they do it, but they don't get the financial impact of what they're doing. So I started an initiative within the company, because we got about 1,800 employees who are kind of working on very serious projects, with all the tier one customers. So there was an instance where I was talking to find out whether they understand a P&L. Do they understand a P&L? Why are they? So they don't understand P&L, and they don't understand the customer context. Because if you look at technology, a lot of investments are getting done in technology, and what happens is the customer makes a business case primarily to invest in an IT project. Say they are investing, let's say, $2 million in a project. They will have a clear business case of when that 2 million should actually break even. Nobody understands that. That's a pity. And if you look at in the past, there was an IBM statistics about 10 years back that 80% of IT projects fail. And 80% of the projects are done in India, right? And why they fail is because the customer context is known to our people. So it's very important for the academicians to actually come and teach, at least give the fundamentals of the finance to every graduate. So when I was doing my master's, there was this professor PK Jain in IIT Delhi. He has written the book called Management Accounting. So he teaches in very simplistic terms as to how, he says, you cannot lose money, you cannot make money. So, I mean, there are very simple fundamentals that he used to teach. So I think that is important for every graduate who comes out to have financial diligence. Now, I'll quote with an example as to why this is important and conclude, due to lack of time. So we are working with one of the biggest luxury motorcycle brands in the US. I'm sure you know the name. So they came out to us and they said they've got 740 or 750 showrooms around the world. In 44 countries they operate. And, America cannot, or America by rule does not let the showrooms be imposed with a software that is supposed to run the showroom. So sales showrooms as well as the service centers of the bikes. Bikes cost 20-30 lakhs. That's the kind of cost. And so they had a 30-year-old or 25-year-old product that was to be replaced. In some of the showrooms which are using, about 450 showrooms are using the product owned by the customer itself. So when they came out with a re-engineering project, so they gave us the requirements and told us to quote for it. And what our guys did is they went around and did all the features, functionality, and said, okay, this will require about 300 people to work for 2 years. So that's, or 150 or 200 odd people to work for 2 years. And the cost was quite exorbitant. And so then what I told them was, while the customer comes to discuss the project with us, let us look at what is their overall cost. How are they kind of trying to monetize it? Because that's a huge cost. Will showrooms make money out of it? Will showrooms buy it? Because showrooms have to ultimately buy it. So we did an analysis and said, okay, it's about $2,500 per showroom per month is going to be the cost, and they should break even in 5 years. So, and then we did model their cost, our cost, everything, and try to put a business plan or align with the business plan. And when we proposed the project to the customer, they said, okay, every parameter that you've identified is right. Your P&L looks good, but we had planned to break this even in 10 years, not 5 years. So your price is not $2,500, but $1,250. And we won the project because we only won the project because they understood that we have understood the financial case or business case for the customer. Now, had the project managers not thought about it along with the features, functionality, estimate of people, we wouldn't have won that project. Okay, so it's very important. And I'm sure Professor Rao would know from his IT experience that most of the guys are only worried about the features, functionalities, and nothing else. Yeah. So I mean, I would like to conclude saying that it is extremely important, especially for the Indian IT professionals, to be financially prudent and financially knowledgeable, to be able to influence the Western world, to give us projects, because we've got too many number of people. And with AI, small companies are winning projects. Small companies are locally in the US, in Australia, in all these regions, winning projects against us. And that is possible with AI because you require 30% less people, and they can do it locally. And they've got a lot more financial diligence and understanding, and they obviously will lose.